43. 40. Kasi ganda na ako sa wala rin po sa BCP. May gamit din daw. Maliit din po kasi sa maliit din po kasi sa OUA. Ulit din po sila direkto.
bang title ay for admin offices? Ako ba naka-title na yan for admin offices? Before. Secretary, I can check if you already have a phone.
Waiting nga ako sa attendance ng computer.
Okay.
Sa mga subscriber natin. Ay, password natin. Yan, sa inyo.
Okay na. Nakakainit din doon. May aircon. 0.5. Third party. 1, 2, ready, blow.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Parang tayo dito. Napamilya na to. Wala, pagpapamilya na si Director. Sige na. Ay, fake lang. Sila tayo. Kape, ano yun? Hindi yan sa model, isa. Makuhan. Sila tayo din. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, mga box. Check. 30. Times 2, 60. Afforded ka na lang sa money. Di ba nakabasa mo? Kaya diyan ka mas mabilis sa ano? Ano ba yung besya? Pangalan ng matanda? Hindi naman ganun matanda. Tita. Hindi rin din sa estansya yung nasa baba. Grace. Mary Grace. Mary Grace. Sila doon mga mabuon sa mga box machine per last. Mary Grace. And cheese bread. Parang ano. Eh, ano man yung 3 dozens kasi 26. Mary Grace. Okay na ba yung attendance? Ay, meron pa ba sa labas? May exception. Ano hindi na ibilang yung nasa labas?
50 pa daw sa iyo nasa
4 dozens na lang para 42. 4 boxes.
dapat isa.
Eh, paano makikinig yung nasa labas?
Nandito lang sila.
Sino ba mag-represent? Oh, lakasan mo yung boses mo, Joshua. Okay na. Okay. Secretariat, kindly check the attendance and we need to already have a call so we can start the conference.
Madam Chair, good morning po everyone. Welcome to the private conference for the supply, delivery, and maintenance of computers for non-teaching personnel 2022. But before we start, let us start with a short prayer po. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord. Loving Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help us we are gathered together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that we would challenge each other to reach higher and farther to be the best we can be. We ask this in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. For the members of the Fields and Awards Committee too, we have our Assistant Secretary and Chairperson, St. Francis Cesar B. Bringas. Good morning po. For our regular member, we have Attorney Resty Osias. Good morning po. And for our two provisional members, we have Director Ferdinand B. Pitagan and Ms. Encarnacion T. Esquas. Also present here with our technical working group is Emma Ruth Galvez. and Mr. Alvin Salcedo. Also present here from the Bank Secretary Division, we have Ms. Karina Amin, Mr. Joshua Mercado, Mr. Roderick Balla, Mr. Christopher Lopez, and I am Jeremiah Baguio. And also, we have an observer from the Office of the Field Operation, Attorney Jansen Alarcon. And also present here with our prospective leaders, we have 19 prospective leaders who are present here to this private conference. If I call your company name na lang po, then state your name na lang po as the representative of this company. First, we have Columbia Technologies Inc. Canlubang Techno Industrial Port. Art General Merchandise. Fourth is Cosmic Technologies Inc. Next po is MSI.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Castro.
Okay. Next po is Intel Corp. Intel Corp po. Next po is si Advanced Solution Inc.
Good morning, where we were there about.
Asia Prime Commodities Corp.
Good morning, Bob Jerry.
Lenovo.
Good morning, Sharon Martin.
Next po is si Net Global.
Good morning, Robert Friend.
iTrend Ventures. Annex Digital.
Good morning, Noel Clark.
AMPI.
Good morning, Edna.
Axel Prime Technologies. King Kong Computer Corp.
Good morning, Johan Chu.
And last po is Silicon Valley. I think that would be all po, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, everyone, and we already have a forum, so we are ready to conduct business. Secretariat, what are the items in our agenda?
First, yes, we have our private conference for the STEM project po, Madam Chair.
Okay, and is the end user with us today?
None po, Madam Chair.
Wala. Di ba kasama end user sa private conference?
Dapat po, pero di po nagre-reply si Engineer Marvin sa mga message.
So nasa ISSP si Alvin.
Sino ang representative ng end user?
Si Alvin.
Sino ang rep? Yun lang ba? Wala ba yun? Isa lang ito?
Hindi naman sila. Hindi naman sa ISSP.
Ay, wala. Pati nga ako ng item sa agenda. Kala ko dalawa yung preview ngayon.
One lang po. Yung next po is report po na.
Okay. So, who is going to present the details of the project? Secretariat?
For the brief discussion po is ako po, then sa salient points po ng discussion po will be Mr. Joshua.
Okay. So has this been po, teka, wala tayong in-invite na observers from COA and the others?
We already sent the letters po dated October 13, 2023 to the following civil society organizations po. Then none from them po acknowledge the email po.
Okay. Kailan dito na-post?
Last October 14 po, Madam Chair. Through
October
Philippines.
14. 2023. So all the attendees to this conference have seen our posting. Kasama bid docs na doon, di ba?
Yes po.
And have you seen the bid documents as well? And hopefully all the 19 representatives here have read the bid docs thoroughly and probably will be ready with your questions because we are only going to discuss some salient parts of the bid docs. But if there are other queries later on which will not be covered by the bid presentation of the Secretariat, then you are free to ask. Okay. Okay, Secretariat, please go ahead.
Good morning po again. For the pre-bid conference, purpose of the pre-bid conference is to clarify and address bidders' questions on the different aspects of the procurement at hand for bidders to fully understand the requirements. Note that any statement issued shall not modify the terms unless in writing and issued through supplemental bid bulletin. For the project information and Communications Technology Service and Technologies Infrastructure Division or ICTS TID with the end user or PMO, with the source of fund is CP 2022 Continuing Fund. The date of advertisement and posting of invitation to bid last October 14, 2023 through PhilGEM's DepEd website, DepEd Facebook, and DepEd Bulletin Board. For the approved budget for the contract, only one lot for this project. The description is specialized laptops for DepEd Central Office personnel with the approved budget for the contract 8,484,904. Next is productivity laptops for DepEd Central Office personnel with approved budget of 48,498,450. The next is productivity laptops for DepEd regional offices and school division offices personnel with the ABC of 108,441,276. And last, productivity desktops for DepEd central office personnel with the ABC of 28,275,885 with a total ABC of 193,700,515. For the issuance, start of the issuance of the bidding documents last October 14, 2023 with the cost of bidding documents only one lot. The bidding documents fee is 50,000. Payment in check should be made payable to Dex Osset Trust. Bidding documents may be downloaded at the following websites: notices.philgems.gov.ph and deped.gov.ph. For the number of prospective bidders that purchased the bidding documents as of October 20, 2023, 0. The pre-bid conference is open to all interested parties who have or have not bought the bidding documents. For the salient points, the bidding documents, Mr. Joshua will present. Thank you.
Morning po. For prospective bidders should have completed within a period of 7 years, immediately preceding the deadline for submission of bids. SNCC is similar to the contract to be bid and the value of which adjusted, if necessary, by the bidder to current prices using the Philippine Statistics Authority. Consumer Price Index must be at least 50% of the ABC of the lot bid for. For BDS ITB Clause 5.3, for the purpose of the track record requirement, contracts similar to the project shall refer to the supply and delivery of computers. For this purpose, the similar contract should have been completed within a period of 7 years immediately preceding the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. For BDS ITB Clause 7.1, subcontracting shall not be allowed. For ITB Clause 9, request for clarifications for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. The procuring entity address is ASEC Francis Cesar B. Bringas, Business Works Committee 2. Consistent with Section 22.5.3 of the revised RR of RA 9184, posting of the PhDs in the procuring entity's website of any supplemental bid bulletin shall be considered sufficient notice to all bidders or parties concerned. For ITB Clause 10.1, documents comprising the bid, eligibility and technical requirements, the bidder must have a partner with authorized service centers in Metro Manila and at least 2 provinces in every region, and shall submit a list of authorized service centers. For ITB Clause 11, The second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents for the bid, and the bid form and price schedule shall be per lot as prescribed in the form provided herein. For ITB Clause 12, the price of the goods shall be quoted TDP or the applicable international commercial terms for this project. Bid prices should be written in two decimal places only. Bid prices that are written in more than two decimal places shall be rounded off. Results of bid evaluation that will exceed the ABC shall be a ground for rejection of the bid. For ITB Clause 14.1 for the bid security shall be in the form of a bid security declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. The amount of not less than 3,874,010.30 if bid security is in cash, cashier's manager's check, bank draft, guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit, or the amount of not less than 9,685,025.75 if bid security is in surety bond. For ITB Clause 14.2, bid securities other than a bid security declaration shall be turned over to the Debit Cash Division for custody. The bid security declaration shall be under the custody of the Bank Secretariat. Bid security shall not contain any deletion, crossing out, expansion, or any form of correction. Otherwise, DepEd may reject such security if any such intercalation, superimposition, or alteration affects immaterial information or feature of the document. For ITB Clause 15, bidders shall enclose the original eligibility and technical documents in one sealed envelope marked original technical component, and the original of the financial component in another sealed envelope marked original financial component. In addition, the bidder shall submit a copy of the technical component and the financial component, hard and soft copies, of their bids in separate envelopes respectively. Then the bidder shall seal and mark the original and the copies of their bids. Any discrepancy between the hard paper copies and the copies contained as presented in the USB flash drive, the hard paper copies will prevail. Original copies of the Class A eligibility legal documents, such as the SEC, DTI, or the CDA registration certificate, and the mayor's permit, may not be submitted on the date and the time of the bid submission. However, the bidder must be able to present such original copies during post-qualification on demand by the bank or its authorized representative. To facilitate the receipt and classification of bid envelopes, outer envelope shall be color red, inner envelope containing the technical proposal shall be color blue, and inner envelope containing the financial proposal shall be color green. Soft copy in Microsoft Excel format of the price schedule is requested to be submitted in flash drive or any external drive, together with the financial proposal. Post-qualification documents may be submitted during the BD, but this does not disqualify bidders who will not submit post-qualification documents during bid submission. Showing the screen po on how we use seal and mark their bids. Note that each bidder shall submit 3 paper copies of its bid. Unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes shall be rejected. However, bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked as required in the bidding document shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. The bank shall assume no responsibility for the misplacement of the contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid, or for its premature opening. Online submission of bids is not allowed. For ITB Clause 19.3, the project shall be awarded by lot detailed as follows. The project contains one lot po with 4 items. Specialized laptops, productivity laptops for DepEd, regional offices and school division offices, productivity desktops for DepEd CEO. For ITB Clause 19.5, the computation of a prospective bidder's NFCC must be at least equal to the ABC to be bid, calculated as follows. NFCC minus current asset minus current liabilities times 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of the project under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started. The values of the domestic bidder's current asset and current liability shall be based on the latest audited financial statements submitted to the BIR. For purposes of computing the foreign bidder's NFCC, the value of the current assets and current liabilities shall be based on their audited financial statements prepared in accordance with international financial reporting standards. If the prospective bidder submits a committed line of credit, it must be at least equal to 10% of the ABC of the lot or lots bid for, provided that if the same is issued by a foreign universal or commercial bank, it shall be confirmed or authenticated by a local universal or commercial bank. In any case, the NFCC computation or committed line of credit must be sufficient for all the lots or contracts bid. The NFCC computation shall be in accordance with the prescribed form. In case of a joint venture, the NFCC shall be computed based on the audited financial statement of the local lead partner, unless it is shown by clear proof that the other partners to the joint venture have infused capital investment to support the operation of the local lead partner to ensure compliance with obligations under the contracts in this project, in which case the NFCC of the foreign joint venture or the minority partner of the joint venture shall be computed. For this purpose, the local lead partner shall be the person, organization, company identified in the joint venture agreement or in the letters of intent shown to have the controlling stakes in the JV and must be registered as a Filipino company or business entity. For easier reference, participating JVs or prospective JV partners must indicate in their JVAs or letters of intent the local lead partner appointed by them. For ITB Clause 20.1 for post qualification, within an extendable period of 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the bank that submitted the SEV, the bidder shall submit the following requirements: latest income and business tax returns, printed copies of the electronically filed income tax and business tax returns, with copies of their respective payment confirmation forms for the immediate preceding calendar tax year from the authorized agent bank. Only tax returns filed and taxes paid through the BIR electronic filing and payment system shall be accepted. Note that the latest income and business tax returns are those within the last 6 months preceding the date of bid submission. The certification from the brand and product manufacturer shall be provided, confirming that the proposed brand and product parts should be available and serviceable for at least 5 years after delivery and acceptance of the goods. Quality product standard: imported products should be past any international product standards. Locally made products should pass the local product standards and bear the PS mark. Unit must be brand new, and the model must be current and not in end of life as reflected in the current product line found in the manufacturer's official website or official product brochure, or similar literature and in the manufacturer's certificate issued for this purpose. All equipment markings, user manuals, and electronic copies must be in English. The bidder must partner with authorized service centers in Metro Manila and at least 2 different provinces in the regions and shall provide the following: signed notarized contract agreement between the bidder and the authorized service partner, a valid and current business permit of the service center, authorized service center contact details, and other appropriate licenses and permits required by the law and stated in the bidding documents. During post-qualification, upon demand by the bank or its representative, a bidder with the lowest calculated bid shall be able to present or submit documents to verify or support its statement of ongoing and our statement and identify its completed contracts, which may consist of the following: appropriate and clear duly signed contracts, purchase orders, agreements, notices of award, job orders, or notices to proceed, with a corresponding duly signed certificate of completion, delivery receipts, inspection and acceptance reports, certificates of final acceptance or official receipts. For validation purposes, original copy of Class A eligibility documents must be submitted. During post-qualification, compliance of the goods offered with the requirements specified in this bidding document shall be determined including the following. As per Section 34.3 of the IRR of RA 9184, verification of availability and commitment and/or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment used to be owned, leased, under purchased by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding, as well as checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government or private contracts. If any of these ongoing contracts shows negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project or a negative slippage of at least 10% in each 2 or more contracts. Delay in the partial delivery of goods amounting to 10% of the contract price in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any of these contracts shows the bidder's failure to deliver or perform any or all of the goods or services within the period specified in the contract or within any extension thereof granted by the procuring entity pursuant to a request made by the supplier prior to the delay, and such failure amounts to at least 10% of the contract price, or unsatisfactory performance of the supplier's obligation as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. If the bank verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the bidder's fault or negligence, the bank shall disqualify the bidder from the award for the procurement of goods. In case of foreign bidders, a certificate of authentication from the Department of Foreign Affairs shall be required for each document submitted. The Class A documents or its equivalent that are written in foreign language, translated to English, and duly authenticated by the appropriate Philippine Foreign Service establishment, post or the equivalent office having the jurisdiction over the foreign bidders appear in the Philippines. To facilitate post-qualification, the bidder at its option may submit in advance on the deadline for submission and receipt of bids above requirements and other documents required in Section 2 ITB 20.1. The envelope shall be placed in a brown envelope and marked ITB 20.1 documents, name of project with opening date, name of bidder. Failure to submit the above requirements within the required time frame or a finding against the veracity of any such documents or other documents submitted for the project shall be a ground for disqualification of the bidder for the award and enforcement of the bid securing declaration. Submission of samples. In addition to the documentary requirements to be submitted during post-qualification, as provided under the ITB Clause 20.1, the bidder having the lowest calculated bid shall submit 2 sample laptop items unit for each item. However, the bidder may provide a sample of better or superior quality, which, if accepted, shall be the reference for award, contract, prospection, and eventual delivery. This sample shall be subjected to evaluation during post-qualification. The technical working group shall evaluate the said samples whether in compliance with the required technical specifications subject to the approval of the bank. Failure of the samples to meet the technical specifications shall be a ground for disqualification of the bidders. Special conditions of contract for SEC Clause 1 delivery and documents. For purposes of the contract and other trade terms used to describe the obligations of the parties shall have the meanings assigned to them by the current edition of Incoterms published by the International Chamber of Commerce. Paris, the delivery terms of this contract shall be as follows. The delivery terms applicable under this contract shall be DDP in accordance with Incoterms fees entitled to the goods shall pass from the supplier to DepEd upon receipt and final acceptance of the goods at the designated delivery site. The goods to be delivered by the supplier must be in accordance with the technical specifications and other requirements indicated in the bidding documents, and or as may be reasonably deemed necessary to effect the full and timely delivery of the goods. For purposes of this clause, the representative of the Department of Education at the delivery site shall be authorized representative of DepEd, CEO, ROs, and STOs, and the designated inspectorate team. Upon delivery of the goods to the delivery site, the supplier shall notify DepEd and present the following documents. Original and 4 copies of the supplier's invoice showing goods description, quantity, unit price, and total amount. Original and 4 copies of the manufacturer's and or supplier's warranty certificate where applicable. Original and scanned copies stored in CD, DVD, flash drive of the pre-numbered inspection and acceptance report and delivery receipt detailing number and description of goods received and duly signed and dated by the ARP. In case the supplier encounters conditions pending timely delivery of the goods, it must be promptly notified DepEd in writing within 5 calendar days from notice of such conditions, and any request for work suspension and or contract period extension shall be promptly done in writing as soon as the circumstances for such requests have become apparent. The supplier must provide sufficient proof to support any request for work suspension and or contract period extension. For incidental services, the contract price for the goods shall include the prices charged by the supplier for incidental services and shall not exceed the prevailing rates charged to other parties. The supplier is required to provide the following services, including additional services, if any: performance or supervision of on-site assembly and or startup of the supplied goods, furnishing of tools required for assembly and or maintenance of the supplied goods, furnishing of a detailed operations and maintenance manual for each appropriate unit of the supplied goods, performance supervision or maintenance and or repair of the supplied goods for a period of time by the parties provided that this service shall not relieve the supplier of any warranty obligation, and training of the DepEd personnel at the supplier's plant and or on-site on the assembly, startup, operation or maintenance and or repair of the supplied goods. However, assembly, installation, startup and or commissioning of items in cases where they are necessary shall remain to be the responsibility and for the account of the supplier, notwithstanding inspection and acceptance at its premises. In case of a failure of supplier to do this, DepEd may call upon the supplier's warranty so that the assembly, installation, startup, and or commissioning shall be undertaken by DepEd. In any case, the supplier shall provide written manuals and tutorial videos for installation, commissioning, startup, assembly, use, and maintenance of the items delivered. For spare parts, the supplier is required to provide all of the following materials, notifications, and information pertaining to spare parts manufactured or distributed by the supplier. Such spare parts as the DepEd may elect to purchase from the supplier, provided that this selection shall not relieve the supplier of any warranty obligation under this contract. In the event of termination of production of the spare parts, advance notification to the DepEd of the pending termination in sufficient time to permit the procuring entity to procure needed requirements, and following such termination, furnishing at no cost to the DepEd the blueprints, drawings, and specification of the spare parts if requested. The supplier shall carry sufficient inventories to assure stock supply of consumable spares for the goods that will sustain for a minimum of 5 years from the date the goods were procured. Other spare parts and components must be available nationwide and shall be supplied as promptly as possible, but in any case within a 1 month of placing the order. For packaging, the supplier shall provide such packaging as is required to prevent their damage or deterioration during transit to their final destination, as indicated in this contract. The packaging shall be sufficient to withstand without limitation rough handling during transit and exposure to extreme temperatures, salt and precipitation during transit, and open storage. Packaging case size and weight shall take into consideration where appropriate the remoteness of the goods' final destination and the absence of heavy handling facilities at all points in transit. The packaging, marking, and documentation within and outside the packages shall comply strictly with such special requirements as shall be expressly provided, including additional requirements, if any, specified below and in any subsequent instructions ordered by them. Insurance. The goods under this contract shall be fully insured by the supplier in a freely convertible currency against loss or damage incidental to manufacture or acquisition. Transportation, storage, and delivery. The goods remain at the risk entitled to the supplier until their final acceptance by DepEd. For transportation, transport of the goods shall be arranged by the supplier and related costs shall be included in the contract price. DepEd accepts no liability for the damage of goods during transit. This entitled to the goods will not be deemed to have passed to DepEd until its receipt and final acceptance at the final destination through its authorized receiving personnel. For intellectual property rights, the supplier shall indemnify DepEd against all third-party claims of infringement of patent, trademark, or industrial design rights arising from the use of the goods or any part thereof.
For special conditions of the contract, GCC SCC Clause 2.2 Schedule of Payment, the method and conditions of payment to be made to the supplier through the government disbursement procedure within 30 days after the date of acceptance of goods at the project site and upon submission of documents under this contract shall be as follows. The supplier may submit a request for payment based on progress reports, which shall be attached to the progress billing and include the following. First, quantity of goods delivered based on the schedule of delivery and other relevant terms and conditions of the contract. Second, duly signed delivery receipts. And third, duly signed inspection and acceptance reports, including certification by supplier, approved by the duly authorized DepEd representative or school head, and that the goods have been delivered and are properly installed and commissioned in accordance with the contract. Other documents in support of a request for payment may be required by DepEd pursuant to existing disbursement, accounting, and auditing rules and procedures. For the initial payment, 58% of the contract price shall be paid to the supplier upon delivery of all laptops and desktop for DepEd CO, the acceptance of the same by an authorized representative of DepEd. For the final payment, 42% of the contract price shall be paid to the supplier upon delivery of all laptops and desktops for ROs and SDOs, and acceptance of the same by an authorized representative of DepEd. Final payment shall consist of the full and final payment of the unpaid inspected and accepted goods, subject to the submission of required documents under the bidding documents. Note the supplier must furnish a copy of the above-mentioned documents to DepEd Accounting and End User Information Communications Technology Service or ICTS PID and the Contract Management Division of Procurement Service Central Office. Payment shall be subject to the warranty provision in form of either retention money in an amount equivalent to the 3% of the every progress payment or the contract price, or special bank guarantee in the amount equivalent to 3% of the contract price as provided under Section 62.1 of RA 9184 and its revised IRR. Performance security. The performance security shall be posted in favor of the DepEd and shall be forfeited in the event in it's established that the supplier is in default of any of its obligation under the contract. The supplier shall be responsible for the extension of its performance security and or renewal of its performance security whenever necessary and without need a prior notice or instruction from the DepEd to ensure that it is in force and effect for the full duration of the contract delivery period and until a certificate of final acceptance is duly issued. Performance security shall not contain any deletion, crossing out, expansion, or any form of correction. Otherwise, the DepEd may reject such security if any such intercalation, superimposition, and alteration affects any material information or feature of the document. For SEC Class 4 inspection or pre-delivery inspection where applicable for goods to be delivered shall be conducted by DepEd through the duly designated inspectorate team. The inspection or PDI shall be made upon notice to the DepEd of the readiness of the goods for inspection. In case the inspection of goods will be conducted by the designated inspectorate team, the DepEd Central Office, the supplier shall coordinate with DepEd through the Procurement Management Service Contract Management Division on the conduct of inspection or pre-delivery inspection. Any request for inspection or PDI shall be done in writing and contain the following information: project title and contract number, specific goods for inspection, quantity of goods for inspection, venue or address of inspection site, and proposed schedule of inspection, which must be at least 10 calendar days from the submission of the letter request. The request for inspection or PDI shall address the ProcMS CMD and must be submitted through email at procms.cmd@deped.gov.ph. Pre-delivery and pre-implementation conference, if applicable, shall be conducted prior to the inspection of goods by designated DepEd inspectorate team as may be necessary or applicable. Prior to and for purposes of inspection, the supplier shall ensure convenient access to the goods for inspection. The supplier shall assign personnel to undertake the handling, unpacking, assembly, commissioning, disassembly, repacking, resealing, and sorting of the goods prior to, during, and after the inspection. The DepEd shall have the right to visit and inspect the supplier's premises covered by the contract at any time or stage of the contract implementation to monitor and assess the supplier's capacity to discharge its contractual obligations. Goods with defects or non-compliant with the required technical specifications upon delivery shall be rejected, orally or in writing, by DepEd and replaced by the supplier in accordance with the warranty provision of this bidding document. The replacement goods shall be subject to re-inspection. Goods are considered defective when they are unfit for the use for which it is intended or its fitness for such use to diminish to such an extent that had DepEd been aware thereof, it would not have acquired or it would have been given lower price for it. Defects in the goods can either be patent or latent. A patent defect is one that is apparent to the buyer on normal observation. It is an apparent or obvious defect. On the other hand, a latent defect is one that is not apparent to the buyer by reasonable observation. A latent defect is hidden or one that is not immediately determinable. For SEC Class 5 warranty, the following warranty periods shall be applied to the goods. Here are the following items for the warranty period: 3 years for the main unit and 1 year for the peripherals. The said warranty period shall run from the date of the issuance of the certificate of final acceptance by the that the delivered goods have been duly inspected and accepted. Payments shall be subject to the warranty provision in the form of either retention money in an amount equivalent to 3% of every progress payment or the contract price, or a special bank guarantee in the amount equivalent to the 3% of the contract price as provided under Section 62.1 of RA 9184 and its IRR. Replacement and or repair of the goods may be requested within the aforementioned warranty period. Replacement of goods shall be made by the supplier within 15 calendar days upon claim or request thereof. Repair of the goods shall be made within 3 calendar days upon claim or request thereof. In case the supplier opts for retention money, the amount shall be in release after the lapse of the entire warranty period, unless during the remainder of the warranty period, the retention money is substituted with the special bank guarantee as prescribed above. The special bank guarantee shall not contain any deletion, crossing out, expunction, or any form of correction. Otherwise, the Fed may reject such insecurity if any such intercalation, superimposition, or alteration affects any material information or feature of the document. Showing on the screen po for the Annex 2 SCC. First is the after sales report. Second, training requirements. For the schedule of requirements, the delivery schedule expressed below stipulates the date of the delivery to the project site. The delivery period is within 90 calendar days from the date of the receipt of the NTP. For the contract duration, complete delivery shall be made within the contract duration stipulated above from the date of the receipt of the NTP. For the delivery sites, goods shall be delivered and inspected at the recipient COs, ROs, and SDOs. Please see Annex C for the allocation list. For the delivery and receiving instructions, the goods shall be delivered at DepEd Central, Regional, and Schools Division offices. Schedule of requirements may be modified at the option of the procuring entity prior due notice, written or verbal, to the supplier. All incidental expenses, including handling and shipping, shall be shouldered by the winning bidder or supplier. The supplier shall replace any newly delivered unit found to be defective and with failures. Replacement shall be made within 7 calendar days after the receipt of notice. All expenses shall be for the account of the supplier. Upon delivery of the goods to DepEd Central Office, the supplier shall notify the procuring entity and present the following documents to the procuring entity. For the technical specifications, bidder must state here either comply or not comply against each of the individual parameters of each specification, stating the corresponding performance parameter of the equipment offered. Statement of comply or not comply must be supported by evidence in a bidder's bid and cross-reference to the evidence. Evidence shall be in the form of manufacturer's unamended sales literature, unconditional statements of specifications and compliance issued by the manufacturer, samples, independent test data, etc. As appropriate, a statement that is not supported by evidence or is subsequently found to be contradicted by the evidence presented will render the bid under evaluation liable for rejection. A statement either in the bidder's statement of compliance or the supporting evidence that is found to be false, either during bid evaluation, post-qualification, or the execution of the contract may be regarded as fraudulent and render the bidder or supplier liable for prosecution subject to the applicable laws and issuance. Showing on the screen po, first is the general specifications. For the checklist of technical and financial documents, for Class A documents, legal documents, valid field judge registration certificate, platinum membership. Next is the technical documents. Then for the Class B documents, the technical documents, if applicable, or duly signed joint venture agreement in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statement from all potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into a abide by the provision of the JPA in the instance that the bid is successful. For the financial component envelope, bidders are requested to fill out the checklist and attach the same to the submitted eligibility documents for the efficiency of checking and cross-referencing back, non-submission, and or file form shall not render the bidders disqualified in case of discrepancy. The information in the submitted eligibility documents shall prevail. For the deadline for submission and opening of bids must be duly received by the Bank Secretariat on or before November 6, 2023, 8:30 a.m. For the bid opening on the same day, 9 a.m. For the venue, Bulwagan ng Karunungan, Rizal Building, Level Complex, Meralco Avenue, Pasig City. Date bids shall not be accepted. No contract rule under Section 32.1 of the IRR of RLE 9184. Members of the bank, including its staff and personnel, as well as the Secretariat and PWG, are prohibited from making or accepting any communication with the bidder regarding the evaluation of their bids until the issuance of the notice of award. However, the bank, through its Secretariat, may ask in writing the bidder for a clarification of its bid. All responses to the requests for clarification shall be in writing. For the deadline for letter of clarifications, will be on October 24, 2023, 5 p.m. and emailed to depedcentral.banksecretariat.deped.gov.ph. Please take note that please use your official business email in sending your queries and or clarifications. That would be all po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Secretariat. We are now opening the floor for clarifications or queries from our guests. If you have queries or clarifications, just mention your names and the company you're representing.
Ay, pang-aring general merchandising. May clarification na sana ako dito sa ITB 19.3. The project shall be awarded by lot. Then dun sa may baba niya, the bidder shall be required to submit bids for all items. It means that every item po ba is dapat may bid docs or every item? Tama, every item. Sa page 20. Ayan. Lot 1, isa lang po kasi yung lot niya eh. Then the bidder shall be required to submit bids for all items. So every item po ba is dapat may bid docs tayo dyan? Or isang bid docs ng namin? Oo.
That's a single lot.
Yeah.
That's a package for the items of the lot. For all items.
For all items in the document. Yun lang po. So isang bid documents lang sa isang lot, tama po. Hindi sa bawat item. Yes. Oo.
Isang bid docs lang.
Thank you.
For one single lot.
Alright. Thank you po.
Pero yung sa pricing niya, naka-itemize ba? Sa financial, naka-itemize siya. Pero yung bid docs mo, sa
Okay. Thank you
that
po.
would contain all.
Alright, thank you po.
Yeah, we indicated the number of units per item in the lot, right? Oh, that's a table kanina. Oh, sure. Yeah. So, and user, yung unang item is a laptop, the second item is a laptop, the third item is a laptop, and the fourth item is a desktop.
Yes.
Na-discuss niyo ba specs?
Yes.
Okay, parang may mga naka-raise pa ng secretariat kanina.
Ano po, by the way, my name is Ashley Cordova from Newton Corporation. And yung clarification po namin is on the section 70 for the detailed specification. Yes po. Regarding po doon sa item 1, we found out po na yung specification is not apple to apple. Is that because yung aming comfort, yung second specs for the Intel is actually the second highest specification of Intel. While yung sa competitor po namin, even their old generation, which is too old for generation, meron pa rin po silang ganyan processor. And we are worried baka po yan din may offer po sa inyo ng mga competitor po namin. Kasi for the competitor, ang apple to apple po ng aming processor is 5016 lang. And at the same time, kung titignan nyo din po yung frequency, they can offer you the older generation as well. Mas din po siya pag competitor.
Thank you, sir. We'll take note of that and we'll review on the processors.
Yes. So like to answer to request to be priced and check also.
We'll check on that.
Tapos yung second question po is dun sa item 2 and 3. May request din also po to check also yung cache memory po ng Intel specs. Because 18 MB po is our high-end model. While po yung kay competitor po is still yung kanilang mainstream. So that's why we would like to request po sana to change or to relax at least 12 MB para po may pasok po tayo mga variants dito. And then, second din po doon sa item 2 and 3 is kung pwede na rin po ba natin i-extend yung right term na ginamit niyo po doon sa item 1 na merong P-core max frequency and E-core max frequency sa item 1. So, ang request po namin is to omit na po yung paggamit ng term na base frequency but instead change po natin into yung ginamit po natin dun sa item 1. Extend po natin yun.
Then we'll review and take note of that.
Yan lang po, hindi po.
Question po. Ano ba yung further question with regards to the warranty on page 3? Nakalagay po sa warranty period is 3 years for the main unit and 1 year for the peripherals. I believe yung laptop battery po is part of the main. Ang standard warranty po kasi for laptop battery is 1 year. So baka pwedeng tulad po 1 year warranty po sa atin. Kasi on previous meetings naman natin 1 year na warranty po natin.
Thank you, po. And take note of that.
Ano ba yung naka-classify dyan sir na peripherals?
Um, mouse, battery,
Mouse, battery, headset, keyboard. Keyboard sa peripheral. Sa desktop, hindi siya peripheral.
for peripheral siya, pero part siya po na ano eh, the whole main unit. Battery. So, it should be included in the 3 years.
Hindi, yung desktop, ang keyboard is not a peripheral.
It's part of the main one unit. Functional kasi
Kung laptop, okay ako na part of the unit. Pero kung desktop, peripheral ba siya?
peripheral siya pero as keyboard is included in the market survey for included in the 3 years. Costing din natin. Specify na lang. Specify na lang.
I think you should, sa warranty period, kailangan hindi siya isang statement lang because you have a desktop and you have a laptop. So baka mas define kung ano yung coverage ng mga warranty period depending on the items para ma-clarify yung readers
No, sir.
of warranty. Any other clarifications from our guests? Or you're just waiting for the blowout na lang? Malapit lang naman ang stand.
Hindi na ako
So, yung ilan ba yung nag-query na? Siguro yung query mo, it's not really a query but a request or ano, you put it into writing para official siya. I think you have the
Same
same,
thing with me.
you have the same
For the
concern.
processor. Kasi for the brand, it's Pierre Castro. So, it's very hard talaga if you are offering to, let's say, two different processor, no? Hindi siya magiging apple-to-apple kasi sir. So, syempre kami, on the brand, who's offering the higher specs, since that is the latest in the market, if the other brands also have their local, syempre the old processor, syempre mas magiging ano po, pagdating talaga sa pricing, hindi siya magiging competitive. So, be better po na we suggest din talaga na kung ano yung latest nitong Intel, dapat maging latest din po sana na AMD. Just to be fair with the bidding. And sir, regarding the accessories kanina, yung keyboard and mouse, honestly, for us, it's gonna be very hard po na maging 3 years talaga yung warranty na accessories. Kasi ano po siya, wear and tear po talaga yan. And lalo na yung mga mouse and keyboard na babagsak po yan. Siyempre, it's a call na rin po ng user and how they gonna, take care of that. So, for the warranty ng mga accessories, if you can also consider na to be 3 years warranty kasi medyo malaki po ang magiging factor on that. Tapos din po yung price natin kasi syempre we will add also additional cost for the warranty ng ng accessories. So, yung keyboard, mouse, kung pwede po gawin lang natin talaga siya regular is 1 year now talaga. At least those person who will use, they know how to take care of that, right? So yung hardware lang po talaga ang kaya natin mag 3 years. Kasi compact po siya na binild namin eh. It's compact. All accessories is 1 year. Sorry.
Any more clarifications from the lower house? Nasa labas? Sa Senate tayo, nasa Congress, nasa labas.
Wala naman po from.
Pinakita niyo ba yung yung delivery sites? Baka gusto nilang makita kung saan i-deliver, lalo na sa mga SDOs.
Grant pa rin po ako concerned po regarding din po again dun sa ports. This one, I already raised it, I think last in the DCP, no? Kasi we used the same pilot po ng how we rated the ports. So it's a very deceiving for everyone, for the brand itself, especially for the item one, if you can, yeah, the ports po, about yan, okay. So nakalagay po kasi is one USB Type-C, that is the kind of USB. And then line 2 mo is 2 times 3.0. So for us, when we write it there po, it should be one USB Type-C, either 3.0 or 3.1. Ang ginawa po kasi natin for writing it, pinaghiwalay-hiwalay po natin. So parang meron po mga ports, sir, na USB Type-C 3.0 or USB Type-C 3.1 at meron din po USB Type-A na 3.0 and 3.1. So I think if we can able to rewrite again how we present the Type-C and the USB 3.0 and 3.1. Magkaano po yun dapat po magkasama sila.
Pero we require one Type-C, and we require two USB 3. So if we rewrite it by how you
Usually po pag nire-write po namin siya, sir, USB Type-C 3.0. One times USB Type-C 3.0 and 2 times Type-A 3.2 or 3.1. Ganun po. Pagkasama po siya, kasi ang Type-C po is a kind of USB and 3.0 is a version ng USB po. Paano na lang din po, sir? Kasi po, if ever po na may state po siya na ganyan, can you also clarify, sir, how you wanted to happen with the USB? Is it kailangan po ba na nakasulat Type-C 3.0, counted na rin po siya, no? Or line by line siya? O lumalabas po na dapat tatlo yung ports?
Yan po yung sila.
Kung tatlo po yung ports,
bulletin po siya.
kung tatlo po yung ports, yung isa dapat naka-Type-C. Tapos yung either of the two dapat naka 3.0 o 3.1.
Yes.
Pero kasi, right.
Any other questions? Sir, yes. So if you guys do that bid submission, baka pwede i-control lang natin ang content. Kasi medyo alanganin yung members since it's Monday. Kasi lalabas yung brief bulletin baka late next week na. And holiday 5 the following week. So mahirapan kasi kung dahil finalize pa lang namin yung mga model or yung offer natin in the once and publish yung mga brief bulletin. So yung pag-request ng mga certification from manufacturers, from Microsoft, medyo tight lang po para sa amin. Kasi holiday is yung last week na
Yes, please.
Mag-attend pa kayo ng birthday ni Vilma Santos.
I-invite mo kami pa.
Can we check the timeline, Secretary? Kasi we have the next stage would be the week for the submission of the clarifications and then pati yung timeline natin, Secretary. Pero kaya po na. Kaya po, early. Is-scam mo yung bakit hindi pa sila ask kasi board na siya.
Oo nga sir. Saan pinangalas ng mga mabilis lang. Shop out. Shop out. Hindi ba sila sa pinangalas pa lang. Hindi pa lumis.
online.
Finalize lang po. Wala sure.
Sige na, sige na. Yeah. So we are now in
Pre-bid conference.
what about?
So,
To repeat, that is today. And then the request for clarification that will be until 24th. So if there are going to be bulletins over 30, it's a holiday.
Madam Chair, for the supplemental bid bulletin, it would be, we will release the bid bulletin po,
That's the last day that we can release.
no po, Madam Chair, ano po siya, 7 calendar days before the bid opening po will be, yun po, October 30 po. So, the start date po is will be October 30, then the end date po is October 36. So, 1 day lang naman po ginagawa ang bid bulletin.
Kaya nga, 30. So kung 30 ang last day ng bid bulletin.
Yes po.
Last day or first day?
Last day po.
Okay. Meron bang susulat sa inyo ng clarification? Meron, no? At least 3 or pang-apat yata yung muna kanina doon. Are you going to wait for the deadline for sending your queries? Deadline is October 24.
Yes,
Tama?
yes.
And then, what do we do 24 to 30?
Consolidated po ng mga request for clarifications po.
Ano ba katagal?
Hindi naman po, pero yun po, i-incorporate na naman po namin siya kung meron po for bid bulletin.
Yung 30 is the deadline for issuance of bid bulletin. Meaning, we can issue a bid bulletin even before October 30. Tama?
Yes po.
Kaya lang, hindi tayo makapag-issue because pwede makapag-issue ka ng 25 or 26 na bid bulletin. Pero you will have to wait until the 30th bago
Hindi naman po.
yun naman.
Apo.
So, anong issue ng erase mo if we can adjust what?
Yung submission of the Monday.
Bill submission is Monday. Yan ba yung bid opening din?
Yes, sir.
ayaw nyo ng monthly?
Week is that.
Okay, can we go further down? Because this is a 2022 fund and we need to obligate it by the end of December, before the end of December. So, kung mag-move tayo ng matagal masyado, baka kasi mag-akultal sa oras, lalo na kung may mga disqualifications, MRs, and so on, marriage, may mga gano'n. Pagka-adjust naman kami ng opening of bids and submission of bids, it will be through a announcement.
Sasama na po siya sa bid po.
Sama sa bid. Sige, we will check on your request on the adjustment, but we will have to see our complete timeline up to issuance of NTP because this is a 2022 fund. Okay, noted on that. Any other saan po galing? Kantin? Kantin? Nakantin pa to?
Yes, sir.
Wala
Wala kasi yung tubig.
Sana
That's before October
18 o 20 na ngayon.
That's before naman. Sana that's before naman yun. So you would
Better na lang.
Better na lang.
Anyway, so no more queries from our prospective leaders. Wala na. Pag kayo ang nag-bid, huwag na itong mga documents nyo. Tapos wala nang mga mga statistic, may topographical. Nagdahan ko yung mga bid docs nyo para mabilis din ang evaluation. Okay na? So we will expect soonest the queries, official queries from the 19 attendees, if there's one. So the sooner you can provide us, the sooner we can consolidate, and the earlier we can also issue the bid bulletin, so we have more time to prepare those. Okay. There being no other queries coming from our guests, so we can now excuse our guests from this meeting, and the class will proceed with the other items. Thank you so much.
May mga sa labas yung next to order. Thank you.